Hello everyone, this is Tom from Dirk Witte music store in Utrecht, the Netherlands. And today we are taking a look at an incredibly cool and very vibey vintage bass guitar, which also has been quite a while since we have taken a look at a really cool, quite old bass guitar from Fender. And this is obviously, as we can already probably tell, the quintessential bass guitar. This is the Precision bass, and this one is from a very iconic and a very historical year, this being 1963. So this is indeed a real deal 1963, not a reissue by any sort, but a real deal 1963 Fender Precision bass, L series Precision bass in its original 3-tone sunburst finish, which obviously shows a ton of wear, especially there on the back, a lot of vibey mojo. Looks super cool, but it plays and sounds like a dream. And this is the 1963 one, so that's also kind of like a very iconic year. There's actually a lot of remakes of this very year from like the Fender Custom Shop and also from like the Fender American line and stuff. So yeah, this is kind of like perhaps where this model kind of peaked. First introduced in the early 1950s, and yeah, this is really what we now know as the Fender Precision bass with this type of a design and a configuration. And yeah, incredibly cool bass. So let's then dive into the specs. So we've got an alto body, and then obviously again in this original 3-tone sunburst finish, or what is left of it, again with all of those incredibly cool dings and finish checking and dents and stuff. Really cool. Actually also quite lightweight, which is actually kind of like a unique thing, because obviously bass guitars tend to be a little bit on the heavy side, but this actually features a quite lightweight body, so that's actually a really cool thing. Does make it a little bit neck divey, but if you get a good and sturdy strap that's kind of like grippy, I'm sure that it would be no issue playing with this while standing. Got the original photo shell multiply pickguard with your obviously original Fender Precision bass pickup installed over there in the middle. The pickup cover has been replaced. That is also included in the hard shell case, but this pickup cover is non-original, but also very old because it shows also a ton of wear. And but it is just the cover, so not the actual pickup, so only the cover has then been replaced. Got your original tug bar over here, so that you can then play it with your thumb, as these came way back in the day. Also got your original electronics, which are very simple, just a volume and a tone control for just your single P-bass pickup, with your original bridge with your knurled steel saddles, and your input jack over here on the front. Does have a little bit of cracking going on in the pickguard over here at the input jack, but that is kind of like to be expected, especially with like these older style of pickguards. They are made out of like some sort of a material that is very prone to like shrink. But yeah, so that is kind of like to be expected. Actually, for its age, it is actually in a pretty nice shape. Oftentimes you would have like a piece broken off over here, or like more cracks over here, but that is actually the only crack that you have over here at that spot. Your strap buttons at your usual locations, as well as an extra location on the back of the headstock, as these came way back in the day. Moving on to the neck, that is a maple neck with a little bit of a beefy profile, kind of like a C/D shape. Actually feels and plays really nice. This also being very much played in, so it feels very smooth. Also got some very cool wood grain going on over there. Not so much flame, but kind of like this very cool mineral streaking going on that looks really great. Rosewood fingerboard with your clay dot inlays, and then you have got your original bone nut right there, and then your headstock with your original Fender Precision bass decal, your string tree, and then your tuners that actually turn sideways, as those also came way back in the day. And then your strap button over there on the back. So you've got 3 strap buttons going on. So you have the option between having it like with a strap with your in like your modern way, if you will, over here and over here, as well as the old school way over here. So that is kind of cool to have. Last thing to mention, also comes with its original export hard shell case, because this one probably was originally shipped to like Scandinavia, because it comes with a case that is very much like those types of art show cases. It also has a very cool like artist name painted on there, so it's kind of like a tweed case, but also pretty worn, as it is also just as old as this bass is, that being 62 years old. But for its age, it is also in a pretty good shape. So yeah, that's all that there's to cover. An incredibly cool and incredibly vibey bass guitar. Obviously the precision bass, pretty much the quintessential and the very first electric bass guitar ever made by Fender way back in the early 1950s. And this is kind of like the, by now, the most recognizable configuration with this type of a design, this type of body layout, as well as neck and stuff. So yeah, incredibly cool and very, very iconic and incredibly vibey, real deal 1963 L series Fender Precision bass. Let's see what it sounds like, but first, if you're interested in this original 1963 Fender Precision bass from 1963, be sure to head over to the links in the description for further details. If you enjoyed this demo, be sure to like the video and to subscribe to the channel for more cool weekly demos of very cool bass guitars like these. Not so much a whole lot of bass guitars, mostly electric guitars and acoustic guitars, but occasionally some very cool vintage bass guitars. Also, be sure to like us and follow us on the socials, Instagram and Facebook. Links are also in the description. With all that being said, let's see what this 1963 original Fender Precision bass sounds like. I'm going to be playing it through an Ampeg B25 bass amplifier on the 1970s. Really cool amp. So yeah, let's move on to that part and let's take this incredibly vibey vintage 1963 L series P bass for a spin.